Good morning and welcome to One Lonely Farmer. Today, I was looking through my video feeds and I don't really watch too many channels. I just don't have time for it. If you know, I'm very, very busy, whether it's on the at home, on the farm, or doing custom work or whatever. Or even here at my house, sitting and watching TV, because this is my sanctuary. There's things that need to be done here at the house, but I generally just come home, take my shoes off, and sit in the chair, play with William, sit in the chair, watch TV, whatever there is to it. Because after a long day of being on the farm, you really don't want to do too much else. So yeah, generally in the morning, I'll get up and I'll watch a few videos. And there's some good channels out there. There are some good channels. There are channels that are small. I like the small channels. The reason I like the smaller channels is because they haven't let YouTube go to their head. I think there was a point where YouTube was going to my head, and of course, it gobsmacked me right back to the ground when they decided to basically censure me. If you don't know what that word means, look it up in a dictionary. But basically censored. They have demonetized. Yes, there are advertising on my channel, but it is diminished to the point where if I need to buy a new camera, it'd be quite difficult. So there you go. But that's okay. I'm not in this for the money. I thought I was there for a while, like I said, when it was going to my head, when things were getting to the point where, I'm going to be a millionaire on YouTube, which I don't think I would have ever become a millionaire. Now, I know why I am not the top agricultural YouTuber, and it's okay. I'm cool with that because I am myself. I can wear a hat like this. And this is probably part of the censoring part. I guess if I turned it around and looked like this, I'd look probably more acceptable to 99% of the viewers on Gobble My Balls' site, YouTube. But I'm getting to a point here, and it has to do with Cole the Cornstar. Now, I didn't watch his video. I don't know what's in it. I can't sit and watch 34 minutes and 1 second of his video. Now, I'm not saying that Cole's doing anything wrong or anything. I'm not. And I'm not whining or complaining about it. But the title of the video is "How Much Do Farmers Make?" Well, that's really not a easy one to answer. Now, I haven't watched it, so don't be criticizing me here. But it's not an easy one to answer. How much do farmers make? We generally don't make enough for our efforts. I mean, I put in huge numbers of hours a day, all year long, even in the wintertime. We will kick off early in the wintertime because, whether right now there's a shortage of money, so I can honestly tell you that that is one of the reasons why we're not doing as much as we would normally be doing, because there's a shortage of money. There's just the mushroom composters, the mulch composters. One is throwing money at me, kind of normal. The other one is just an absolute drag. I mean, they owe me over $110,000. That's a lot of money. I was promised money this week and next week, and it's Sunday. I haven't got no money. So I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed. I'm actually beyond annoyed. But I was in there on Friday, and there was more material in that composting facility than I've ever seen in my entire life. Probably ever. They've never ever had that much material in their site, and the trucks are still coming in. So, but that's just the way it is, I guess. I've never been screwed by this company, ever even close. This is the first time they've ever even just been behind. They've never been behind before, but the last check that I got from them was for $3,000, and that was 2 weeks ago, and there was a week before that I didn't get anything. So in the last 4 weeks I've gotten $3,000. My fuel bill a month is more than that just to run the loads. It's like, what the hell? My fuel bill is more than that. I need to fuel up my diesel tanks as well. They need to be filled up. I got 2,000 gallons worth of storage right now that I need to put fuel into, and these bastards haven't paid me anything. So, that's just the way it is. So when I see a title like this that says how much money do farmers make, it depends. I mean, it's one of those things. Are you getting paid for your product? Are you? Are you getting paid a fair wage for your product? I would have to say no at this point. Do I feel that there will be fairness in agriculture? I think it's coming. I think it's probably. I think it is coming. I think there's a reason that it is the way it is, and that's because farmers are a very small demographic in the whole pie, and we can get beat up the most, even though we are probably, and I won't say this in any arrogance, we are not probably, we are definitely the most valuable asset that this country has. Now, we are a volunteer force to feed 347 million people, or 350, we'll just round it up, 350 million mouths. 350 million mouths, legal and illegal, plus whatever's out there that exports. We export a lot of grain, and that goes to raise chicken, poultry, pork, and beef, and other fish. We're raising fish, That's what that grain goes to. So when Joe Citizen that doesn't understand, they're like, well, why would I even worry about what corn and soybeans and wheat and rye are doing? I don't eat that stuff. Who the hell eats corn? Well, you're eating it. You just don't know it. Milk, cheese, beef, poultry, pork, all eats the grain that farmers here in the United States produce. If you want to go down the road that I took, human beings do eat only once removed from the field, whereas grain is a couple of times. So when I take hay into, say, the mushroom growers or the composters, it gets composted into a soil, and within 28 days you're eating off of that. Whereas beef takes pretty near 2 years of grain to get it to its finishing point. So, if you're Joe City, man, looking at this, just think about this: 18 to 24 months. That's what it's going to take you to get your beef to your table. Pork, much sooner. What is that, like 4 months? Poultry, 8 weeks, 7-8 weeks. Not even 2 months. So 4 to 6 months. I don't know. Hog. We raised hogs and bought them in the spring and slaughtered them in the fall, and they were pretty big animals. So let's just say 4 to 6 months on hogs. I mean, you can kill them sooner. You can get a 45-pound pig and eat it just fine. But for the most part, they don't kill them at 45 pounds. They wait till they're pretty big. 100, 125, I guess. I'm guessing that's what we would have done when I was young. Now today they could be slaughtering hogs at 150 to 200 pounds. I don't know. Now, if you go to the Philippines, I've seen some 600-pounders, man. There's some big hogs over there, and they kill those. But anyway, I've seen them kill 30-pound pigs, so piglets. But yeah, so within 6 months of me producing this product, people are eating from it. Whereas grain, it's not that fast. Fish, possibly. They grow pretty quickly, but not as quickly as you think as well. There's another, if you're eating out of a tilapia pond, those things take a year or so. So, yeah. Now, mushrooms are very important, even though people don't think so. They think of them as a luxury. But they are a strong and powerful antioxidant, and there are a lot of medications that are being produced from mushrooms as well, which shocks the hell out of me. I mean, there's a lot of good medicine that comes from mushrooms, and plus they taste pretty good. They generally take on the flavor of what you're cooking. If you've never cooked with mushrooms, don't eat the mushroom fresh out of the package. I think they taste like shit. But if you cook with them, and you can enjoy them that way, that's how we do it. So I actually eat a lot of mushrooms, where years ago I wouldn't even touch one. So, but anyway, so that just leads us back to, what do farmers make? Rising grain prices will also increase the price of equipment and fertilizers, and your input costs, your rent will go up. So I can use an example of when I was a young man. My grandfather died in 1981. I was 9 years old, and milk was over $13 a hundred for milk. Now, mind you, we were only producing, what, 50 pound cow herd average. That's what they were back then. I mean, that was a top producer, was 50 pounds. Now, Jesus, probably 90. I don't know, used due to BST, bovine somatotrophin. I don't even know if they're still using that, but I'm pretty sure that it's still around and still available. And what that does is stimulates the pituitary gland in the cow to produce milk, making her think that she is producing for calves. So they can really just push these cows to the limits of their ability by a drug, which I don't agree with. I never agreed with it. We never used it. I had a vet come in, our vet, Ron. He came in and he says, "Oh yeah, your herd could really use BST, and we can nutritionally manage your herd so that you can produce more milk." Well, how's this sound? Why doesn't everybody just produce less milk? Because Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, and their affiliated products, they're all over TV. I mean, I wouldn't even, if I turned on the boob tube right now, I guarantee you that I could glue my eyes open for 20 hours and 24 hours and not see a milk commercial or anything to do with milk. I mean, I've seen non-dairy creamer like Cremora or International Delight. There's no dairy in that. And yet I see those commercials. I don't see a milk commercial. But yet every dairy farmer out here, every dairy farmer pays into the advertising fund when that milk is sold. So my thoughts on dairy are slim, very, very bitter. They're bitter. Did I mind milking cows? I can honestly say I didn't mind milking cows. I didn't like starving to death milking cows. Okay? That was it. If I was milking cows, I would not be in this house. I wouldn't. There just wouldn't be. Oh, maybe I would be. I would just have a 70-year mortgage on it so that I could afford the payment to make an ends meet. And of course, you'll get people that say, "Oh, you need to diversify. You need to sell some of this and do some of that and do some of the other thing." When I was a kid, we milked cows. Before my grandfather died, we milked cows and we were in the grain business. We were doing, back then, I think they did one year with a 4-row corn planter where they had like 800 acres of corn. And I remember that was the year my grandfather died, and it was hell. It was hell. Well, we did that for several years, but 800 acres of corn with a 4-row corn planter, 4-row corn head, and a TR-70 combine, and an old grain truck and a couple of wagons, that was a tough deal. I mean, you guys out here in YouTube land don't know what tough is, especially if you're younger than me. If you're younger than me, you don't know your asshole from a shoe sole. You think you got life by the balls. Well, I'll tell you what, when life's got you by the balls, that's when you learn to appreciate what you've got. And we were pretty well clamped in a vise with our nuts hanging down below it, and the bank was squeezing them tight because my grandfather had died, and yeah, that was it. Everybody was spending money. This was back in the 80s, in the late 70s, early 80s. We were spending money like there was no end to the grain prices. And then Jimmy Carter had the trade embargo. That cocksucker. I hope he dies a slow, miserable death, because that's what he did to the farmers in the United States. To be quite honest with you, if you think that you're making money on soybeans today, the only reason you're making some money on soybeans is because the yields have gone up. You're not making money because the price has gone up. You're making money because the yields have gone up. Back in the 70s and 80s, if you got 30 bushels to the acre, you were king cob, man. Because guess what? The price of soybeans in like 1978, I think it's 78, 79, 13, 14, $18. You could get that. You could buy a brand new combine, a brand new Gleaner K combine. I have a friend of mine who bought one, $13,000, brand new, $13,000. So there you go. 1,000 bushels of soybeans paid for a brand new combine in 1977, 78. Yeah, K2, I think it was. Little combine, just a little combine with a 13-foot header. I think it had a 13-foot. Might even only had a 12-foot header. I don't even know, but it was brand new. And when you're raising soybeans like that, and a bushel of seed beans, you didn't even have to. You could save them back then. You didn't have these laws that prevented you from saving your soybean seed. And a bag of seed corn, $18, and corn was $4.50, $5.50 a bushel. Yeah, we would produce between 100 and 150 bushels to the acre. But the bag of seed was $18. I remember when I was a kid and seed corn broke $90. My dad said, Jesus, how the hell do they expect us? Oh, and then they want you to go from 16,000 plant population to 24,000 plant population and spend $90 a bag. God, I would love to get seed corn for $90 a bag. Of course, there's technologies in it today that take the skill out of growing corn and soybeans, to be honest with you. Years ago, if corn had a bad day, you had no corn. I mean, if you put that corn in the ground and in the first week it had a bad day, sorry, you're either replanting or you're watching it struggle for the entire summer, and then you live with the disappointment of 80 bushels to the acre. And that's the way it was. So I'm going to flash back to last spring when I was going to plant corn. I had a couple of pallets of seed corn sitting in the shop, on the shop floor, and there they are. Yay, double stack, triple stack. They were triple stack. They were Liberty, Roundup, corn borer, rootworm, and they had a whole bunch of shit in it, and it's all this technology for like almost $300 a bag. Holy mother of Mary and Joseph. I was like, holy shit, man, this is going to be expensive. But whatever, I wanted to do it. And the weather turned on me. I mean, we had rain every other day. I got fields of hay that I put fertilizer on. Perfectly clear sunny days, and then deluges of rain, and goodbye. I had better luck with hay. I had dry fertilizer put on it at the end of May and early June than I did with the stuff I put in March and early April. Late March, April, and into May. I mean, oh my God. Yeah, it was crazy. It was absolutely insane. So, there you sit. What are you going to do, right? So the new seed varieties, they say you can put them in wet, you can put them in dry. They never have a bad day. Emergence is incredible, and you're going to pay for it. So when I see how much money do farmers make, I think we're just cycling more money. Okay, yeah, now we can get over 200 bushels to the acre, and I've done it. Best I ever did was 221 bushels in good old Kingwood Township ground. Now, let me tell you, that took skill. I mean, luck. When I said it took skill, it was more like luck. The seed went in the ground. It emerged beautifully. The deer population, I had fought them back. There was a high-powered rifle, and if you're from the New Jersey Division of Fish, Game, and Wildlife, this is what you can do with your shotgun. There you go. If you don't like it, go fuck yourselves. I don't shoot deer anymore. I haven't for many, many years, but when you got to fight them back, you have to fight them back. There's just no way. There's no way to grow grain here in my area without the deer just devastating you. I mean, I see soybeans. I saw a farm that I used to farm, and I laughed when I saw that he put soybeans in there. He was a good guy, but his friend wanted to farm. So he's like, oh, yeah, my friend Fred, he wants to farm, and I really don't want hay on my ground, so because I want the deer. I was like, oh, well, I'm not planting food plots for you. Forget it. I'm not doing it. So at some point in time when Fred has had enough, just let me know, and I'll come back. And he's like, oh, yeah, but I think Fred's a good farmer. He'll be fine. I'm like, okay, whatever. So Fred went into the field and went about, I'd say about 300 feet into this field of soybeans. The reel doesn't even flip him into the auger to feed his little John Deere combine. That shit don't happen. I mean, I was just amazed. So he didn't make anything. And the funny thing about deer is they don't eat the input side of your profit. They eat the profit side of the profit. So I got another guy up to the north here. He doesn't like me anymore, and that's okay because, that's his choice, and it's fine. He thinks that I'm just he just thinks that I'm out to get everybody in the world here, but I'm not. He thinks that, but that's okay. His wife and his brother thinks that, and that's okay. They can think that all they want. They just better not think it out too far out loud, or I might just turn on them. But and I'll be a good boy until I feel that they've pissed me off enough. So anyway, he plants soybeans. He gave up corn, but he plants soybeans now, and his theory is, I'll plant a big farm, and then I'll have sacrificial soybeans over here, so that the deer will I'll shoot them in the good part of the farm, and then I'll plant this sacrificial field, and they can eat that. Seed's the same cost, equipment's the same cost, diesel fuel's the same cost, tractor's the same cost to get your sacrificial field in there. And there's no amount of signs that say deer eat here that they can read. Deer can't read. The last I saw, deer can't read. I mean, I did see a commercial on TV where the iPad could translate from reindeer, but I'm pretty sure that was fake. So, sacrificial field, your input costs cost you just as much as the good part of the farm, which basically means sacrificial field is one of those fields that was an old pasture, or it was something that never got any attention. It was farthest away from the barn, no manure, just got abused. I got one of those, and I put hay in it. There you go. I can make hay on it. It's fine. Sacrificial my ass. When you're sacrificing a crop to save the rest of the crop, you know what you're getting? You're getting lost income. So that way of thinking is kind of dumb. Now, if you cut your rate in that sacrificial field, they'll eat it faster. They'll eat it faster, and then they'll leave. So you could probably double your rate of seed and get them at bay there. You're just still cutting your own dick off with a rusty serrated knife. That's what you're doing. Just not that smart. So I was even told that I need to grow corn and soybeans so that everybody shares the deer. Well, I might be stupid, but I ain't that stupid. I mean, oh yeah, I'm going to, again, cut my dick off with a rusty serrated knife so that someone else can make a little more money because I'm losing it. Give me a break. Give me a break. That's not that shit ain't happening, pal. Not happening. So, yeah, so that's the kind of nonsense stuff that happens here. Now, how much money do we make? It isn't. We generate insane numbers. I mean, I'm looking at Cole's, thumbnail right here. It's a picture of a 7140 International tractor, which is old. So that thing should be paid off, which is fine. We all run what you got. I mean, I got a 1967 5020 that I would run if somebody didn't destroy it. But he's sitting there and he's looking like down at his boots, and he's like, oh, well, the end of the world's coming. And there's a number on there. He says $239,000. Well, $239,000, I don't know if you'd get, what would you get? A couple thousand acres of corn in the ground for that? I mean, $239,000, you're going to look at somewhere between $500 and $700 for corn to get it in the ground and growing, I guess. No, it ain't going to be that much. It takes about, let's just say $239,000. If you lost that much money, I mean, I've lost that much money in a year, 2018. took a little more than that. Took a little more than $250,000. 200. I think I had it figured out at almost $300,000. I ain't recovered from it yet either, to be honest with you. It's tough. It's tight because of that. 2018 sucked. Last year was a good way to get out of that problem, and it helped between the corn fodder and the North Carolina straw. But $250,000 that you had to borrow against to stay afloat, that wasn't worth it. I mean, I worked really hard in 2019. Still worked really hard in 2019, and then I have a composter that is withholding over $210,000. And you know what? They lied to me, and I don't like being lied to. So I was shuffling more material into the other place, and the other place calls me up and says, now 2 loads a week. 2 loads a week? Load up a gun, put a bullet in my head. That's about what that's worth. So I kind of have to muddle along with what I've got going into the 2 places, the one that doesn't pay and the one that does pay. The one that does pay used to be the one that doesn't pay, but it does now. I'm only allowed 2 loads a week. Well, shit. That ain't enough. That ain't enough. What the hell is that going to pay? And the other one is 3 loads a week, so I'm running 2 and 3. I still have to run the 3 loads into the place that hasn't paid me. The last check was October 22nd. What are we at now? January 26th. November 22nd? December 22nd? January 22nd. We got 3 months. They should be at 2 months. They should only owe me. They technically only owe me 2 months. But they owe me 3 months. So, and in those 3 months, there's, what are we at? 40 loads? 37, 38 loads. Yeah, 38 loads. Wow, 38 loads. There's more than that. What the hell? Maybe I'm going to share a little bit of my financials here. I don't generally do this because it's none of your fucking business if you didn't know that. But I'm going to make it your business because this is what really sucks. 38. This is lowballing. I think it's 38, 36, 37. Yeah, 38. Might even be 38, 39. 38. There it is. That's what they owe me. That's terrible. This is just absolutely terrible. I don't think that that's fair to me. I don't think it's fair to my family. I just don't think it's fair. And not only that, the other one, they're in the, they owe me damn near 30, right? So there's $140,000 or more. $140,000 is owed to me right now. So when I look at $239,000 on somebody's thumbnail, that's a joke. That's a joke. So I'm owed somewhere between $135,000 and $150,000. Rough estimate is probably closer to 150, or 200. Yeah, 150. So $139,000. You ain't making that. They're making more than that. If they ain't making any more than that, they're just a lost cause. Any more, you need to make $1 million a year. You need to generate $1 million a year just to pay your taxes, eat, buy a new car or something, a truck, and if you buy new equipment, don't get too far out on that because the rug could either be pulled out from under me, or them, or anyone, and there you set. Yep. I mean, YouTube pulled the rug out from under me, which is fine. I'm still here. A lot of people quit when the money gets yanked out, but you know what? I'm a dairy farmer. I milk cows for a living. I know what it's like to have the rug yanked out from you twice a month. Yeah, like Oh, wait a minute. We gave you a little extra for your milk, but we need more for hauling. Oh, hauling charges. Oh, yeah. Well, butterfat dropped on your tank. I'll tell you a quick story too. I got 30 minutes into this thing. Butterfat dropped. The price of butterfat dropped. Oh, okay. Why? Well, whatever. So butterfat. Not the price of butterfat, the content, the butterfat content. Well, we really didn't do too much different, and so what we did, and I think I might have told this story before, when the bulk tank driver came in, the milk truck driver came in, we took and we expected it to be a failed test. So we're getting like, they don't pay you till it's 3.5% butterfat. So anything below 3.5. Now wait a minute. How does this go? I can't remember now. It's 3.2%, 3.2%. They don't pay it till 3.5. So they get free butterfat. They get that butterfat. They don't pay you butterfat until you hit 3.5% butterfat in your milk. So when you buy whole milk, it's what? 3.2% butterfat. So 3.2% butterfat is considered whole milk. They won't pay you till it's 3.5. So if you're 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, they get 0.3% for or all of it for free, until you hit 3.5. So they make their money on butterfat. They do. Ice cream, butterfat, half and half, butterfat, all this other things, butterfat. So when you have 2% milk, that's 2% butterfat. So they skim from 2 to 3.2. That's the difference from whole to 2%. Then you have 1% low fat, no fat, fat-free milk. It's water with white cream in it. It's awful. I mean, I'd rather drink swill. That's about what it is. It's swill. It's all been pieced apart so that they can sell their ice cream. Well, go get an ice cream cone, and you pay $2 for an ice cream cone. It don't cost but a nickel to make that, So the creamers are making huge amounts of money. So I remember butterfat was in the toilet, or they were paying more for butterfat, and we knew that the butterfat content was higher than what they were talking. I mean, our cows were producing very well. We were making good butterfat content. So I said to the toy man, he was the guy that was picking up our milk. I said, hey, I can't remember his name, but we called him the toy man because that's what was on the front of the truck. We took the little sample, and before he agitated it, we dipped it in and we skimmed pure cream off the top of that. Clicked it, and he was game with it. He says, yeah, go ahead. We'll see what happens. They should reject it. They should say insufficient and then send the milk inspector out to pull the sample. No. 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. We never got to 3.5. Nothing. Ever. So they steal from us. And that's how it goes. So how do you know? I mean, if you're milking cows and you feel that your butterfat content is not, and because you know what your bulk tank is. You know what your cows are doing. You know how well it's going. And then all of a sudden, butterfat drops off. And you look, what's wrong? Did something happen in the ration? Did something happen with the silage? Did something happen with the haylage? What did it get bad mold in the grain? What's going on here? Because any one of those factors will destroy your production. So if you're steamrolling along and your cows are all averaging, let's just say for shits and giggles, you got a 70-pound cow herd average, per cow herd average, which is beautiful. We didn't have that because sometimes family just can't get it through their wooden head that you need to get rid of old cows, and they will cause other issues. So if you got a 70-pound herd average, and that does not change, but all of a sudden, you go from, say, a 3.8 or a 4.1% butterfat, which 4.1 is really pretty decent, at least back in the day. We've been out of milking cows for 9 years now, come this spring. 4.1, why not? We did that for years. And then all this, 4, 4.1, 4.5, 4.3, 4.7. What happens? Boom! All of a sudden, no butterfat. What the fuck? Well, the price of butterfat went up. They didn't want to pay the farmer. So they just have the lab girl, we'll give you extra $50 in your paycheck or $100 just to write down 3.2. Change it up a little bit, get it below 3.5 so we don't have to pay the farmer. And not only do they get 0.3%, they get 1.3% for free. And there you go. And the butterfat was like premium. That's where you got more money. That's where you made your money in butterfat. So as a dairyman, I've had the rug pulled out from under me. It's disgusting. You work all year. You put up beautiful alfalfa hay. You put up beautiful clover hay. You put silage in the bunk. You put silage in the silo. You do high moisture corn. You fill the barn with whatever great quality hay it is, and just so you can produce that almighty milk that nobody wants, by the way, because Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, and all their affiliates are bombarding the world with, Red Bull. These people have airplanes. They fly shit. They do crazy stunts. And it's piss water, sugar water with caffeine. Oh, excuse me. You can go to any store and there's vending machines, 4 or 5 of them, with any kind of flavored anything you can get. Where's the milk? There's no healthy choice out there, And then you get people like PETA that call it cow pus and bombard magazines with anti-milk advertising. And people just don't want to drink it. Oh, well, who drinks milk anymore? Well, they're building hospitals, for diseases and shit because you're drinking crap and eating crap. So keep eating crap. Keep eating crap. Impossible Whopper. How long before that turns on them? The Impossible Whopper actually bleeds. Now, I haven't tried it. I'm a little scared because how do you make a plant taste like a cow? Something's in there. Whether it's the coloring, the flavoring that they're putting in there. Are they actually using real beef flavoring, like lard? No, it's Impossible Whopper. It's no animal product. It's all plant. They bleed. You know how they make them bleed? Beet juice. So when you eat that thing and it's dribbling red-looking shit, that's beet juice, which is nothing wrong with beet juice. It's okay. But there's a binding agent in there to keep that together. Come on. You're eating crap. Don't eat that shit. Eat something real. If you don't like beef, eat chicken. If you don't like chicken, eat pork. If you don't like eating that, eat soybeans. Soybeans is plenty of protein there. You can get protein from plants, but don't go to the fast food restaurant and think they got your best interest at heart. They don't. You know what they got at heart? Their pocketbook, and that's all. Get to know your local farmer. If you got we got a couple of these local CSAs. Now, I don't agree with them, but they're, community-sponsored agriculture or CSA, community-sponsored agriculture or community-supported agriculture. I'll be goddamned if I'm going to have some idiot come onto the farm and tell me, oh, those chickens don't look so tasty. What are you feeding them? Or whatever it is. Fuck that shit. You know what? Sell your products. Cut out the middleman. Middleman's the one the middleman is the one that's putting all these crazy chemicals and stuff into your food that, 'cause, it's farm fresh, No, it's not. Farm fresh is if you call up, hey, West Bend, you got any cows over there where I can buy a quarter of? Yeah, sure, I got one. Boom, boom, there you go. Off it goes. Learn to buy your food elsewhere. I'm not saying that, plain meat, actually on the, like steaks and stuff. It could be anything that's got flavoring in it added. You're eating chemicals. Those pre-pressed hamburgers with flavoring in them, don't eat that. Go buy yourself some just ground beef. Make your own hamburgers. If they don't stick together enough for you, add an egg. At least then, you're getting an egg. Well, whatever. I guess I've ranted on long enough.